Well, the celebrations honestly have been going on for days now. If you've been keeping up with what's happening on the ground in Argentina, it hasn't looked much different than it looks today. Hundreds of thousands of people have taken to the streets to celebrate Argentina's glorious World Cup win. And like you mentioned, today the Argentine government has actually declared a national bank holiday. That means that nobody needs to go to work, banks are closed, so everybody can be out on the streets expressing their joy for the team. And of course, like you said, the national team arrived in Buenos Aires early this morning. There were already crowds of supporters who had camped out, literally camped out at the training site on Monday ahead of the team's arrival. You have photos of fans spilling out of cars, basically doing everything they can to find room to be able to celebrate that moment when Messi would come down off of the plane with the World Cup trophy in his hand. And you're seeing the images now. It's certainly been quite the turnout. Today, like you said, there's going to be what we call a victory parade across the country. The team is going to be celebrating the World Cup triumph, at the Obelisk, which El Obelisco in Spanish is one of the most popular monuments that you traditionally see sport celebrations take place in Argentina. And of course, these celebrations are across the board in Argentina. It's not just in Buenos Aires that you're going to see crowds like this on the streets. You can really expect this across the country. And then the team, keep in mind, tonight is going to be spending their first night back in Argentina at the Football Association's training ground, where, like I said, there will be lots of Argentinian locals camping out around the area.
Natasha, talk to us about how significant this is for the country, not just because of its soccer culture, but the country's suffering economically, rampant inflation, a lot of people struggling to make ends meet there. What does a victory like this mean for them?
So, to many, football may just seem like a game. Soccer may just seem like a game, but Argentina and its culture is heavily defined by the sport. It's a part of the fabric of the nation. If you ask any average Argentine who they think the biggest icon of all time in their country is, at least in recent history, you'll probably hear the name Diego Maradona. He is a soccer legend who led Argentina to its World Cup victory in 1986. So you can really imagine what winning this title right now means for Lionel Messi, who was already beloved but has now clinched a third World Cup title for Argentina in what was really, truly a nail-biting game. Now, obviously, like you said, beyond just a pure excitement, the adrenaline of winning, this comes at a time when Argentina is facing a very serious economic crisis. Around 100 years ago, Argentina was one of the richest countries in the world, but since then, what we're seeing is Argentina face a series of very serious economic crashes in past decades. This year alone, inflation reached nearly 100%, and what that means is that it basically rapidly wiped out the savings, the dreams, especially among people within the middle class. So those who can invest their assets in euros or dollars, which can be exchanged for pesos, Argentine pesos on the semi-legal black market, are in much better conditions than those who only have access to Argentine cash. And crime has shot up as a result of this, essentially rampant poverty that we're seeing across the country. So to have a moment like this, it's simply a huge relief for Argentina. It's a symbol of hope, something that's really bringing people together who have been very divided by this economic crisis, by the current situation with the government. And you can just see people taking to the streets, hugging each other. It really is a show of solidarity for every Argentine across the country.
And Natasha, very, very quickly, we've got about 30 seconds left. Talk to us about the huge presence of the Argentine population that was in Doha in that last game. More than 40,000 fans in the stadium.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, listen, whenever there's a football game, you're going to see a bunch of Argentinians. They'll find a way to make their way to wherever that game is, despite the tough economic situation that we're seeing in Argentina. I had several friends myself who decided to fly out to Qatar last minute for the final game. And it's not just in Qatar that we saw a huge turnout. It's right here in Tel Aviv. They're calling Tel Aviv Little Buenos Aires. You had literally thousands upon thousands of people who turned up the night of the big win on Sunday night in Tel Aviv to celebrate. It looked like Buenos Aires. My family asked me, was that filmed in Israel? So, you're really seeing kind of a turnout of the Argentinian populace across the world, not just in Qatar, but really everywhere.
Natsha Kirtchuk, the host of Israel Business Beat here on I-24 News, joining us live this morning on all the celebrations commencing. Thank you.